Oh, see, somebody's coming right now. Hi, Abby. Welcome. Just in time. Okay,
Yay.
folks, welcome. This is our transfer student panel. We're so glad you're here. We know it's really hard to do virtual revisit days. It's really a challenge. I know it's a challenge for all of you at home. It's hard for our beloved Gann students to not be together at our beautiful home in Waltham. But we're really, we're glad you're here tonight. Transfer students are very, very special and very important again, and we take a lot of love and care to bring you into our community because we know that it's a different entry point, but we make sure that it works for you. It's very personalized. So we encourage you to ask questions. No question is too big or too small. Just a couple of Zoom etiquette things. Number one, I am recording this, and I'm recording it so that I can put it on our accepted students page, which hopefully you all have had a chance to visit. Number two, typical Zoom etiquette, we ask that people mute themselves until they're speaking, and that's so that the dogs and the little sisters and the little brothers and the doorbells and whatever's happening don't distract the rest of us. Besides that, feel free to reach out. Like I said, questions welcome. We will have a chat available so you can put your question in the chat to everyone. You can privately send it to me and I will ask it for you. You can just raise your hands. There's some fun icons on the bottom where you can kind of wave. So whatever works for you, but feel free to reach out. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Cindy Jacobs, who is our amazing Dean of Students at Gann Academy.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. It's so cool to see everybody. So, first of all, I thought we could do some introductions because while Emily and Wendy may know some of you, we don't know you and you don't know some of us. So, I'm going to start off. I'm Cindy Jacobs. I'm the Dean of Students, and I've been at Gann for 4 years. And I have 2 daughters that also graduated from Gann. So, I'm going to call on people if that's okay. Jacob?
Hello, I'm Jacob. I went to Schechter until 8th grade, and then I went to Newton South for 9th grade, and then transferred to Gann sophomore year.
Okay. Danielle?
Hi, I'm Danielle. I'm a junior. I went to Schechter also through 8th grade, and then I went to Needham for 9th grade, and I came a month into 10th grade. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Sam?
Hey, I'm Sam. I used to go to MIMO until last year, and I transferred in this year for 11th grade.
All right. Hannah?
I'm Hannah. I went to Newton North for freshman year, and I'm a sophomore now.
Hannah, you want to introduce the person next to you, and then Sam will go back and you can introduce the person next to you.
Mother.
Hello. And we have 2 other siblings of Hannah, one in college and one at a public high school.
All right. Sam, who's the person next to you?
This is my mom,
Does she have a name?
Michelle.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Michelle, as Sam said, and we have 2 other kids. Gabriel, 8th grade at Maimonides, and he's going to be joining the Gann community for 9th grade. He's very excited. And Julia, we moved here for Julia 7 years ago, special needs kid in Newton Public, and they're doing an amazing job with her, truly. And she's in
Great.
9th grade at Newton North.
Great. Abigail?
Hi, I'm a senior. I went to Shady Hill School for middle school, and then I went to Beaver freshman year, and then I transferred to Gann sophomore year.
All right, thank you. Let's see who else we got here. Okay.
Can you just introduce Gina and Emily, or can you introduce yourself?
Sure. Emily is go ahead.
Hello, I'm Emily. I'm the Associate Director of Admission. I've been at Gann for 5 years, and I'm super excited that you guys are all here and that we get to see your faces. I know how important it is, especially for transfer students, to feel and see what kind of cohort they'll be part of. And I'm super excited that you guys are all Brady bunching it up on my screen right now.
Thanks. Gina?
Hi, everyone. I'm Gina. I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions. I've been at Gann for 6 years now. And some of you I know. Hi, Flickr family. How are you? And some of you I don't. And I'm so glad that you have your cameras on and I can see you and we're all together. And thank you so much for being here tonight and being a part of the conversation.
Great. Okay, so I think that's the Gann clan. So I'm going to go by the name that's on your thing. So I have Gal Basson, but I don't think Gal is the student, right?
Yes, you're right. Yeah. I'm Ty. I'm a sophomore and I go to Lexington High School.
All right. Hi, Ty. Hi, Gal.
Hi.
Zwicker family. Which one of you is coming?
Hi, I'm Dahlia, and I'm a sophomore at Sharon High.
Okay, there's 3 of you. Are you the one in the middle with the hat?
And I'm the mom. Thank you.
You're the one next door. Okay, I'm just trying to get this. Okay. Hi. Ella. Hi.
Hi, I'm Ella. I'm a freshman at Wayland High School.
All right. Welcome. Nice to see you. Ben.
Hi, I'm Ben. I'm a 9th grader at Nobles in Greeno in Dedham.
Mm-hmm. Great. And Ben, we know Ben because, you know, I know his older sister. Right? Yeah. And
is that Mom?
There's another click.
Hey,
Is that? Oh, hey, Lori.
How are you?
Good.
Nice to see you all.
Yeah, nice to see you. Hi, Abby. We're just introducing ourselves.
Hi.
Oh, there's the light. You want to introduce yourselves?
I'm Abby, and I go to Needham High. I'm a freshman at Needham High.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. Well, welcome, everyone. I hope that more people will join us, and if they do, we'll do introductions. So this is the transfer panel, and we want to give you a sense about, you know, answer your questions around what it means to be a transfer and how do we bring transfers into Gann. And hopefully you can get a sense of what it's like to be a transfer student. All the students here obviously transferred and are doing really successfully, and they all have different experiences. So hopefully they'll be able to get a chance to talk about that, and you'll be able to ask them questions directly. Let me start off by saying that, you know, we take this process of transferring really seriously. I mean, we take all students who are coming in seriously, but I think as a transfer student, it's even more so because, you know, you're taking this risk of leaving something, yeah, where you've been to come to some place that, you know, that you're hoping is going to be better. And there's lots of reasons that people transfer. So the first thing I want to say is I think it takes a lot of courage and it takes a lot of sort of boldness and faith to do that. And I also want to acknowledge that the decision isn't always easy, right? So we know that. So when we plan for, you know, bringing you in and helping you sort of navigate the initial kind of, you know, getting into Gann, whether it's classes or meeting people or things like that, we take all of that into consideration because we know that it's really hard to start something new and it's always weird until it isn't. So I'm going to ask.
It's also weird when you can't come back for revisit days in person.
Well, yes. I mean, acknowledging we are living in bizarro time, and not just because it's raining outside, but you know, this is definitely not the way we would want it. But I think, you know, making the best of things. So, so one of the things that we all, sorry, I've got all these things popping up on my screen. So one of the things that we do at the beginning of the year, and you know, when you come to Gann, we'll do this, is we have an orientation for transfers. And it's really specialized and it's really focused on helping to get you up to speed in terms of not just what you need for classes, but also linking you up with somebody from your class who can act as a mentor, introducing you to people who are important, giving you a sense about the school, and allowing you not just to get sort of the basics, your ID and all that down, but to begin to know what it's part to be a part of Gann. So, you know, so that's something. I'm going to call on a couple of people that we have and ask them if they can tell us a little bit about what their experience was when they came in. So, or maybe I should ask, who wants to talk? One of our Gann students want to talk about what it was like for them? Anyone? Anyone? Cool. All right. Jacob, thanks.
Hi. So yeah, I didn't say this. I'm a senior. Also, I'd like to apologize in advance. Sometimes my mic does this thing where it gets really loud and annoying. So apologies ahead of time if it does that. So I went to Schechter in 8th grade, and I really liked it. I enjoyed the Jewish community. Did it do it? I really enjoyed being part of a Jewish community, and I feel like I was missing that a lot at Newton South. Yeah, I didn't have that many friends. I wasn't close with that many people. And you know, I looked at Gann before 9th grade, but I noticed during freshman year that I was missing that aspect of having a Jewish community and people I feel comfortable with. Also, it was just really difficult being in a public school with so many kids in my grade. When I was used to being at Schechter, where there was only 60 or so kids in the grade, and it was much more, you know, close knit and communal. And I hadn't even thought about transferring really. I wasn't having an enjoyable time, but I hadn't really even considered the possibility of transferring because it's really scary when you think about it. So I commend all of you for even getting this far in the transfer process, but it didn't even cross my mind transferring until I was invited to a Shabbat dinner with one of my really close friends from Schechter growing up who goes to Gann, and a lot of her fellow Gann friends. So it was just me and her and a bunch of Gann kids. And by the end of that Shabbat dinner, I went up to my parents and I told them I want to go to Gann. So this was already pretty late in the process. This dinner was about 2 weeks before I was going off to summer camp. So I filled out all of my application stuff at camp. The first time I actually saw Gann's campus was about a week before school started. So my process was a little bit rushed, but all things considered, coming to Gann and transferring to Gann is one of the best decisions I've ever made in my entire life. And I couldn't be more grateful for the opportunities it's provided me.
Wow, Jacob, that was so nice. Thank you.
I remember the call.
So who remembers feeling really nervous and scared before they, like, you know, getting into it? Abby and Danielle. Abby, can you tell us a little bit about some of what maybe was going on with you?
Well, as you know, I'm a senior, and I transferred in sophomore year, and I went to Beaver for the first year. And I think I never went to Jewish school before, so I think for me that was one of the scariest things, because my family isn't religious. We don't do Shabbat dinners, nothing like that. So for me, I was like, oh my gosh, like, is everyone been to Israel, done all these Shabbat dinners, celebrate Shabbat? I didn't really know what it meant to be part of a Jewish community. And I think getting there, I realized that it was less about religion and more about the feel, like the connection you have with your peers and the connection you have with your teachers, where you can joke about Passover dinner or just something funny that happens that like only you would know because you're Jewish. And also that community feel that you don't think about. I never experienced it because I just never was at a religious school before. And I think walking into Gann, like, I definitely felt more connected to the people, even if I haven't talked to them before.
Wow. Danielle, did you want to add something?
Am I saying something that I was scared about or something in general?
Well, something you were scared about before transferring.
Well, mine was kind of like mine was kind of like the transferring process in general, because I was supposed to come to Gann in 9th grade, like when it to step up there, like I was enrolled at Gann, and last minute I just kind of got cold feet, and I was just like, I don't know, it kind of just realized that it was all happening and I didn't really understand, and I just decided to go to Needham High School instead. And I went there and I didn't even realize I didn't like it until like a random day. And like the scariest part for me was that I didn't say anything to anyone because I was too scared that like my family, like backing out of Gann like had consequences, like obviously, and backing, especially like what it was once summer started before we were supposed to go. And I just didn't know it. Like I was scared of what my friends at public school would say, and I was friends of what I was scared of what people in like Gann would say, because my brother goes to Gann, so like my twin brothers. I was like scared of what they would say, and I was scared of what my family would say because everyone wanted me to go to Gann. And
So what
that's
happened?
well, then it was just a random night. Like I never even admitted that I didn't like school, even though like I really just didn't like it, especially coming from Schechter. And like I went to a movie one night with Allie, who also didn't go to Gann then, and like me and her were just talking, and we just were like, we just don't like this. Like we miss the connections we had. Like I miss the connections I had with teachers and the connection I had with like everyone, even people I'm not as close with. And we just kind of were like, you know what, like let's, like my mom was like, why don't you guys go to Gann? And then the whole thing started. By the way, this is like a week before the start of sophomore school year.
I
Like,
remember.
and then we went to her house and convinced her parents to like even like give this like idea a chance. And then the next day they called my parents, and her parents called Emily, and this is like less than a week before school starting.
I remember the call.
Oh my God, I was so stressed out that I wouldn't be able to go, because it's like, it's crazy, like being able, like it was 6 days before school, even less. Like I submitted my application the same day that everyone started school. And yeah, but it was like Jacob said, one of the best decisions of my life. Life is so different again. It's like I was video chatting with one of my teachers on Zoom the other day, just like talking about life, because like I have actual connections with my teachers. And one of the saddest part about like Zoom is that connection is hard to maintain because it's like not face to face, you know?
Yeah, it's a challenge for everybody. Yeah.
I had a similar experience.
Yeah.
Where I was gonna go to Gann. I visited, I think in 8th grade or something around there. And I was gonna go for 9th grade, and then I backed out at the last minute. And in 10th grade, I did the same thing. And those were probably like the worst decisions I've ever made, because like making the decision to go to Gann for 11th grade has been the best decision of probably my whole life so far, because the whole environment, the social environment at Gann is completely different from a lot of other places. Everybody's so open and willing to accept everybody. So it was really easy. Like once you, like on the first day, it was so easy just to get integrated with everybody.
That may be one of the things that I think people worry about most, is like the whole friend group. And I'm speaking to you who are thinking about transferring. You know, what are some of the concerns that you might have, or you know, what are you worried about? Anybody want to offer up something?
Hannah, did you have something that you wanted to add?
Yeah, I just like, for me, I knew in the fall of last year that like I wanted to come to Gann, just because like I've heard about like the community, and I just think like I really like needed that community in my life. And I guess like my nerves kind of started like the beginning of school, like it all just like, I was so excited, then all of a sudden I realized what was happening. But like going in, I was like nervous about like, because like you're new, like everyone already knows everything, but like going in, I was worried like where my classes, like normal like high school things. But like just going there, like everyone is so welcoming and like shows you around, and they don't really treat you as like the new kid. Like they're just like very welcoming.
That's great. Thanks. So one of the ways that we do this is we have what we call orientation. And as I mentioned earlier, that's when, you know, we bring people together, all the transfer students, and we basically help you sort of get your courses down. We work with you on making sure that everything is jiving. We introduce you to lots of different faculty, to other mentors that we pair you with, people in your grade, as well as your advisor, just so that when you start school that you feel like, oh, okay, this isn't so unfamiliar, hopefully. But we put a lot of time and a lot of thought into making, you know, that orientation special, just, you know, to make sure that you guys feel as much as you can that the transition is seamless, right? So
I will also add, Cindy, that I think you guys did, which I wasn't expecting. I felt like when I was bringing Sam for his junior year, I felt like that preschool mom, like, who am I going to be friends with? How do you meet people when your kid's just starting junior year? And you did an incredible job even welcoming the parents. So that first day, the transfer students came in, the parents had a separate thing, and people were coming up to me saying, "You must be Sam's mom." I was just shocked and taken aback at the attention you even paid to the parents of the transfer students. It was really beautiful to feel like I was meeting people immediately and you were integrating the parents at the same time.
That's great. Yeah.
I agree with that, and even received a phone call as somebody being my mentor as a parent. So that, you know, when you're going through grade by grade and you're used to being in the same school and you have friends at that, as a parent, you have friends, you can just say, "What do you wear on this day?" Or "What time should we show up?" Or, you know, the silly questions. I had somebody that I could email or call and they would answer my silly questions. I mean, I could ask the school too, but it was just nice having a parent reach out and say, you know, "I'm here for you." And then, of course, the Jewish, you know, background of everybody, we ended up our kids knew each other.
Yeah, that happens. So one of the things you might wonder is, you know, I think when you get there, it's like, what do I do when I get there? So even when you come in the first day, there's probably going to be somebody there that we have mentored, you know, paired you up with, somebody hopefully from your advisory that you're going to be joining. So the way that we have it structured up is we have what we call advisories, and I don't know if y'all have those in your other schools, but every group, you know, every advisory is from 7 to 10 students, and this is a group that you stay with for the time that you're at Gann. And we try to pair you up with somebody from your advisory. So the first day when you even come in the door, we hope that, you know, this person that we've paired you up with, a buddy or whatever you want to call it, you know, meets you and is able to help you get to your first class, meet you between classes, introduce you to everybody. Whether you get there early and they bring you into the dining hall and say, "Hey, you know, these are my group of friends, and this is Ella, or this is, you know, Ty, or this is somebody else." But they meet up with you between classes. The ever dreaded lunchtime. Oh my God, what am I going to do at lunch? Am I going to have someplace to sit? They're laughing. Sam, I see you laughing, right? Was that an issue? You want to say?
That was definitely not an issue. Partially because everybody's so open, and partially because there's so many options for like what to do during lunch. And everybody's willing to talk to you. So
the joke is though, every day when Sam comes home from school or whatever, when I meet up with him at the end of the day, I always ask him, like he's 5 years old, "Who did you sit with at lunch?"
Yeah.
Because that first day of junior year, that was my first question. "Who did you have lunch with? Oh my God, how did you know what to do?"
Yeah, and also like the first week is actually it was way easier than I expected, because the first week is kind of structured, if I remember it, like it's not really a real week of school. It's kind of more of like an introductory period where everybody gets to know each other and you kind of like get introduced to the layout of the building. And so like by the time academic classes really start to like go into full swing, you're already like fully integrated and you know like where to go and everything.
Yep. Jacob, did you have something to add?
I was just going to say there's a question in the chat from Ben that I could answer.
Oh, okay, go for it. You want to go for it, Jacob?
Yeah, I muted myself. The question was, how do you get involved in clubs as a transfer student? Which is a good question. Clubs at Gann are the most chill thing ever, like ever.
Unless you're in the hot sauce club.
Yeah,
it's still chill. It's still chill. It's still chill.
Yeah. Me and a friend of mine, we're both seniors. We started Hot Sauce Club at Gann, which has been a really big hit. Pretty exciting. But you know, clubs are the most chill thing ever. You can join a club in the middle of the year. You can show up one day and not show up the next day. You can pretty much be as involved or as uninvolved as you want. So I think being a transfer student doesn't really play into how clubs work at Gann, just because, you know, transfer students get the exact same opportunities as non-transfer students. And just as a Gann student, you can go to any club you want whenever you want. You don't have to sign up or be involved for a certain club or anything. You can just go whenever you'd like.
There are a range of clubs. So just to sort of say, yes, there are clubs where you can drop in, and that's what's cool. there are also clubs like Model UN or Mock Trial where you may have to try out. But as transfer students, you guys actually, no difference. You know, you go, you prepare the same way. It's not any different whatsoever. And those clubs they're intense. But I do have to say, if I could just toot our horn, we have a new coach of the Mock Trial team. He's actually head of the history department, Mr. Cadden. This is his second year of coaching Mock Trial. It's also the second year they made it to the finals, which is really exciting. So if you're at all interested in that, it is competitive, and man, he works you. But anybody will tell you it's so worth it. And Mr. Cadden's a trip in and of itself. But it's really, it's tremendous. The other thing I think that's cool about clubs at Gann is that if there's something that students see they want to do, to start a new club, you can do. So if you have an interest like that there's not, and you don't see it, like Hot Sauce Club, or maybe like rapping or some sort of music or whatever, and you can get a couple of people with you, you can start your own club. Because, you know, we want you to pursue that which you're interested in.
Can one of the students tell us how you do that?
Abby.
Well, I didn't start any clubs myself. I know Jacob did, but you have to get a form, which is in the mailroom. If you've visited Gann, it's easily accessible, and you have to get 20 signatures of kids or faculty who they think that the club is a good idea. They don't even have to be a part of the club. They're not committing to anything. They're just saying, this is a cool club, and a faculty advisor, and that's it. And your club is started. But also,
who do you submit that to? Student council.
Oh,
Student council.
Abby, how do you know all this amazing stuff?
But at the beginning of the year, what's really nice is we have a clubs fair, and the entire dining hall is filled with tables and booths from every single club, and they all want you to join. So, and there's sign-up sheets. Everyone's throwing candy. It's super fun. It's one of my favorite times of the year. You walk and you don't even need to buy lunch because there's everything. It's so much fun. And by the end, I always get like 20 million emails from like the poker club. I got some from like hot sauce clubs that you just sign up for them. You end up signing up for 20 clubs that you don't even end up going to, but it's a really nice way to get involved and kind of see everything that's going on.
Do you think our students could name all the clubs? No, and I know, Jacob, I saw you had your hand up.
Not a chance.
Not a chance. We have a lot of clubs.
Abby, were you involved? How long have you been involved in student council?
Well, I ran for grade rep at the end of last year. So I'm a senior grade rep, but I know a lot of people, some people do it for a year, but a lot of people who start as a grade rep, they become an officer and then president. And so you really get involved. And I think part of the reason that I wanted to join student council was to get to know my grade better and like do events that they like, because we have laser tag event or ice skating events, out of school events that are really fun, but we also have in-school events, which are also a nice way to build community within the grade. So I think that's really important as someone who really loves, I love the community feeling at Gann, and I definitely want to foster that feeling outside of our school. So.
We have clubs that meet in school, but there are also clubs that meet like on Sundays. You may have heard of Yachad, which is anybody here ever heard of Yachad? No? Yes? Well, Abby, I know you're involved with it, right? So they meet on Sundays, and they bring students from other places. But we also have different clubs that meet sort of at Gann, but then do some things outside of Gann.
Cindy, will you tell us what Yachad is and what that means?
Sure. So Yachad, the word Yachad means together. And what it is it's a group where they come and they meet with other students who are what we would have diverse learning needs. Abby, is that right?
Well, I'm president of the New England chapter for Yachad.
Oh, well then why am I talking about it? You should be talking about it.
It's a really amazing organization. It's for anybody can join. We have events with individuals with physical disabilities, learning disabilities, and our motto is because everyone belongs. So we're really trying to foster this community feel of inclusion. So we have perm events and different carnivals and all of these, a lot of events outside of school, but we meet every Monday for club. And it's really fun because what we want to do is raise awareness for people with disabilities, but also make them feel included. Because I think a lot of time, like the subtle things that you might not even notice will make them feel excluded from the norm. And through our events and we have a buddy program, we have summer camps, there are a lot of Shabbatones, really trying to make everybody feel involved and included is our main goal.
I will tell you that Sam's sister, who's 16 and has significant special needs, it's really, for some of these kids, they're really only Jewish social option. And there are a couple of Shabbatones a year, and Julia goes to both that are for her age group. And this year, because Sam's at Gann, he was a volunteer through Yachad Club. And it was so nice that they could go together, A, and B, she met so many wonderful Gann kids who give up, you know, a 24-hour Shabbat. It's not an easy thing to do, but it is an amazing thing to do. And I think equally, the kids with special needs and the typical kids get so much out of it. It's an incredible experience. It was amazing to watch how many Gann kids were there. It really was.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a good amount of kids who do it.
It was beautiful.
Yeah. So lots of clubs and lots of things to get involved with. And I think, you know, Abigail, you said it right, which is, I think clubs just help students feel more included. It's like, it just enriches the academic stuff, which we really haven't spent a lot of time talking about. And I don't know, if I were a transfer student, I'd want to know about the academics, right? So I guess one of the questions that I would have is, how is academics different at Gann than it is at other schools? You know, there's Jacob, and Danielle. Oh my God, they're all jumping. Who wants to talk first? Who wants to go? Danielle?
You can if you want.
I can go, I don't care.
Okay, Danielle, and then Jacob.
I just think that like it was amazing to come to Gann and have like everything about the academics in Gann. Even though sometimes you feel overwhelmed with work, teachers are so like, they care so much. Like if you're having like a terrible day or like a really hard, like overwhelming day, like I've emailed the teacher, like don't, like not a lot obviously, but like once in a while being like giving extensions or like one time a teacher assigned a test on a specific day where a bunch of us had a lot of like other tests and projects going on, and like we were like, and we told the teacher this, and the teacher changed it because like they just care, and your like mental health and your happiness comes before like deadlines and comes before other things. And it just, like I'm in school and I feel like the way that Gann teaches, like there's some, you've all probably been to Gann, so like, you know, like some of the walls are like the whiteboard walls, and it's just so much more like it's very interactive, and I just like, it's just engaging, and I'm interested in school, and that's why it's harder to be on a Zoom call where it's so like robot like, you know. But
yeah,
because that's the whole thing about Gann.
Jacob, you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I was gonna speak along the same lines of that. But you know, one thing that I really didn't love about Newton South was that as a student, I didn't really feel heard. And that's just, you know, I feel like that's something that most of us can identify with, especially me coming from a smaller school going to a big school. And that was in my relationships with my teachers. Did it do it again? With my relationship with my teachers, with my fellow students, I just felt like I was just a small number in a big population. But coming to Gann really changed that. For example, for starters, I started feeling heard. I felt like I was an actual member of a community, not just a number on a list of students at a school. But on top of that, I was able to develop really strong connections with my teachers that, you know, reminded me a lot of what it was like at Schechter. And actually even better than Schechter. I didn't have the best Schechter experience either, but you know, the connections that you're able to create with people, especially teachers, allow you to get so involved in your work and feel so heard and so respected. Like what Danielle was saying about, you know, if something's seems a little off, you can just talk to a teacher about that, and there's nothing wrong with that. And, if you're getting too much homework one day, you can talk to a teacher about that. I, especially with Zoom going on, it's been really tough to do homework, and I've had multiple conversations with my teachers just explaining to them how, a lot of the stuff is really time consuming and energy consuming, and they're all there to just listen to you and to hear you and understand you, and they do stuff about it, which is the best part. So, Gann is just a very, very strong community and very good at listening to people, but especially when it comes to academics.
One of the things that you guys are saying and that we know about Gann, and for those of you who are thinking about it, it's really about relationship. It's about the relationship not only that you build with your peers, but really that you have with your teachers. And I think that every teacher and every person, whether you're a teacher or an administrator, an administrative assistant, it's really all about the relationship. And it's through the relationship that that you're able to sort of, one, help you find your voice and grow in ways that, that you never thought possible. One of the things I hear all the time is how, the students at Gann, as you guys said, you feel seen, whether you want to or not. Okay, fair enough. But that it's really about the relationship. And when you leave Gann, we want you to know, like, this is something that we also want you to do, because, when you leave Gann and you go wherever you go, you're going to have to interact with people. And if you're going to college, with most of all of you are, Gann students leave, and because they've had to have conversations with their teachers, they go prepared, ready to go to office hours, and they know how to talk to their teachers, and they know how to engage with them in a way that not only strengthens what they're learning, but allows them to, one, be who they, continue to be more of who they are, but really enriches the learning through that relationship with the teacher, right? I mean, this is something that, I think that Gann students talk about a lot. So anyway, just want to say that. Do you guys have any questions? We've been doing a lot of talking.
Hannah had her hand up, and then Danielle, and then I would love to open it up for some more questions.
Yeah. Okay.
Adding on,
Thanks.
You can tell the teachers aren't there to make your life harder. And yes, obviously I've had very tough assignments, but I've gone to my teachers and they want to help. For Zoom, it's been very challenging to go to that. And honestly, I miss being at school, but my teacher specifically just gave a bunch of work. So I emailed her, and she wanted to Zoom call just me and just hear where I'm coming from. Cause she wants to make sure we're getting the best out of what we're doing. And for sports also, I've tried new sports and I've been able to do multiple sports because it's built in the schedule. Cause they're Gann wants you to try new things and do everything you want to do or have been wanting to do.
That's great. Thanks, Hannah. Okay, who was next? Danielle?
I think she's
Do
frozen.
you hear me? Or am I
we can. Yeah, now we can hear you. Yeah, there you are. Uh-oh. I think she's frozen.
Yeah, she's frozen.
All right.
Do anybody have any other questions or have any questions?
As a parent of a transfer student, watching the teachers engage immediately, even before Sam started, I was really impressed with how teachers reached out to Sam before school to make sure he was in the right section or that he was choosing the right class, that it was the appropriate level. They really spent a lot of time having him give a writing sample, read something, see if he was comfortable. And they really knew him as a student even before he started school in September.
Yeah, and also even though it's my junior year and technically academically it's been harder than other years, the actual learning has been so much easier for me because all the teachers want you to be engaged and try and make it interesting from my experience. So even though I've gotten a lot more work, everything's been way more interesting and engaging. So I actually have been having fun at school, and it's enjoyable.
That's great. Thanks. Any questions? I mean, we've been doing a lot of talking.
Does anybody want to talk about coming from a school where they may not have learned Hebrew or had any Jewish background? Because I know that that's a question I get from transfer students.
So I didn't know any Hebrew coming in. So right now I'm in a class with all kids who are a grade younger than me, which honestly I was worried about because I like knew like I would absolutely know no one. But like now like I have connections with kids in other grades, which I find like really cool. Like I've like I don't really like act like, oh, like I'm big, I'm like older than you, like I'm friends with them, and like we'll go to each other for help on work, and like the class doesn't feel like a dread. Like it's like interesting to hear about like how they're doing in like in a different grade.
That's great. Anyone else? Abby?
This was my first experience at a Jewish school. So I didn't learn any, I had a bat mitzvah, but I learned very little Hebrew, no formal study of Judaism. But I think it was really very relaxed the way they teach it to you. They don't try to press it. If you don't know it, you learn it, and you learn from the basics. Like I started learning the alphabet. And I was similar to Hannah, I was placed in a class with kids younger than me. And some of those kids in that class are some of my closest friends. And it really allows you to branch out. I think the way that sometimes you might not be placed as a transfer, you might not be placed in a class with kids your own age. But I think that gives you an opportunity to reach out to kids you normally wouldn't talk to, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm. Jacob?
Hi. Okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say classes at times are very intergrade anyways. Like for example, I'm taking engineering 1, which is a mix of all 4 grades. So I mean I haven't been in a Hebrew class or a language class with kids from different grades, but I'm assuming it's all sort of the same idea that people at Gann just mix so well regardless of the grade, and there isn't a grade barrier. So I have a feeling it just all works out.
You know, another interesting thing that happened to us, I think, for Sam coming from Maimonides, which was an Orthodox Jewish day school, and then going to Gann, it was such a different way to experience a Jewish day school. And it wasn't a better or worse. It wasn't a more or less. It was just different. So I think this class, maybe you could probably speak to it better than I can, but talking about Israel in a very different way than he was used to talking about it.
Yeah, like Jewish studies classes, you have a lot of options for what you can take, and you can take like text-based classes, but I chose not to because like I was coming from a more text-based environment and I wanted to try something a bit different. So I'm taking like a Jewish philosophy and like an Israel class, which is really interesting because it makes me feel like I'm more informed about like what's going on in Israel. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah. You have a lot of options.
All right. Any questions? Oh, Hannah, I see you.
Just to add on to the Jewish studies, I was worried going in that like all my like peers would know so much about like this, but like honestly, like people like they don't know everything. Like what we're learning is new to them too. And also honestly, Jewish studies is one of my favorite classes because like it's an act like it's a class, but like you can tell like just specifically in that class we talk more about like ourselves and how it relates to ourselves. So on Fridays we'll have this thing called Jewish Journey Fridays, and like the teacher will like give a prompt, and it's just like a safe circle to like open up, and like that's like I've never really had a class where like I was able to open up to a whole class.
Wow, that sounds cool. Danielle, yeah, I know we do snaps for stuff like that. Danielle.
Yeah, adding on, I was gonna say this too. When I went to middle school, like I don't know, I didn't really connect the Jewish studies classes there in Schechter. I really didn't like them at all. Not dislike, just it wasn't what I looked forward to in my day. I looked forward to other classes. And in Gann, like this is very unexpected for me. And it's just Jewish studies is my favorite class also, just because of like I'm just really interested in everything we're learning. And it's more of a conversation. It's more of a it's less of assignments out of school. It's more of you get what you put into it. Just like there are kids in my class who like me are very engaged, and so I get a lot of that class, and I leave that class every day feeling like I don't know. It brings up my mood, you know, because I just feel like I'm connecting things that I wouldn't normally connect to myself, and talking about things like I've opened up also to that entire class on end of week sharing every like Friday, and I tell them things that I never thought I would say in front of that many people, but yeah, Jewish studies. I know a lot of people like Jewish studies classes at Gann, which is something I feel like you wouldn't really expect.
That's great. That's really great. Wow. Okay. So, any other questions? I just, I want to be sensitive to everybody's time, and some of us have school tomorrow. Some of us may even have homework. Any other questions? Nope. I think I saw you, Abby Berger. I thought you said no. Anybody? Ella, Ben? No? No?
No, we just wanted to say, yeah, just no question. I just wanted to say that it's very helpful. Whatever, question being asked here, it's given us, at least as a Thai perspective, she's very, not frightened, but she's nervous a little bit about all this, yes, getting into it. But it's really helpful to hear, everyone here. So thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Jacob.
I just wanted to say I'm gonna put my email in the chat. If anybody wants to reach out with any questions, please feel free to do so.
All right.
Jacob.
If any of our students are willing to put their email in the chat, and I know Ms. Jacobs will also, I'm sure, be willing to do that.
Absolutely.
We are available for questions. We know this is a hard time. We know it's hard to do revisit days virtually. We really want to help answer your questions as you make this decision. We're close to the deadline now. We understand that. We want to be as flexible as possible, but of course we want you to come to Gann. So anything we can do to help, please let us know. I want to thank our guests who have come tonight, our admitted students and their families who are very brave, have taken the time and effort and the leap to explore Gann and see what we have to offer. So thank you for that. I also really want to thank our students, all of our students, but especially acknowledge our seniors who really are not having the senior year that they had hoped for and they've worked so hard for. And they're still really connected to Gann on Zoom, and they're so connected. But our hearts are heavy because we know it's really hard for them. They all want to be together. We all want to be together. Our community is so strong, and we're all really missing each other, but especially our seniors. So we love you all, and we will get there. We will have graduation at some point. So we appreciate your time. And to the juniors who I think we're supposed to be on a college panel right now, I'm so sorry. Thank you for coming. But to all of our students and the Kimball family and the Hertzlinger family, and of course, Dean Cindy Jacobs and my amazing admissions staff. We are grateful and thankful. Emily posted our accepted students page, so come visit it, ask us questions. We are here, and thank you. Be safe and be well.
Yeah, please reach out. You have our information. Yeah, all right.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, I'm wishing everyone an early Shabbat Shalom.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom.
Bye.
Bye.